everyone, and welcome to this week's Flash Friday Finance Update. I am here with the wonderful Samantha Brown from the Art of Tea. Welcome, Samantha.
Hi, Louise. Lovely to chat this morning.
So, because of all the information flying around about trust lending, and Samantha has used trust in her lending, which we've helped her with. And so, first of all, I wanted to talk about your business, and then we're going to talk about when is using trust appropriate and why we've used it in a certain structure and way. So, first up, please tell us what you do.
Thanks, Louise, for the warm welcome. So I am the director and owner of a business called The Art of Tea, which is based in Tasmania. The brand, however, is 25 years old, which is a major milestone for a small business in Australia.
In anywhere.
In
Awesome.
anywhere. Yes. So I've been at the helm for 19 of those 25 years and grown the business substantially. As the name suggests, we supply quality loose leaf tea to both wholesale, so cafes, restaurants and hamper businesses, as well as retail Australia-wide. So, as you might imagine, that takes a bit of space to blend 150 teas and dispatch and have employees and so forth. Yeah, based here in Tasmania.
Yeah, amazing business, and her teas are divine. I can recommend. What was the one? The conversation or too much conversation tea when you've talked too much all day?
Oh, the voice brew. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
I'm needed for Louise, for sure.
When I've been yabba all day long, I can go home and have a little rest on that one. So I do love that. Thank you very much. And so we were talking because Samantha's a big property investor. She's got numerous properties in different entities. And why have you structured them in trusts, Samantha?
Well, it became clear to me that that's really important for security, basically. So you've got that separation between me, the person, and the company and the trust. So I got great advice from my accountant about how to set up that tax structure for my whole business. So there is the trust, and initially I had me, Samantha Brown, as the individual trustee to the trust. And obviously I'm the company director of the Art of Tea as well. So it's somewhat complicated, but very important as a business when you're buying assets. For me, I was looking to buy a warehouse to put the Art of Tea in so we could continue our operations and growth. And it was very important to put that in as an asset under the trust.
Yeah, brilliant. And originally you were an individual trustee, but what we discovered was moving to a corporate trustee or having a company allowed you more lending opportunities, I gather. So
yeah,
that's how
that's right.
we've come to that conclusion, haven't we? That it was cheaper because having that corporate trustee in place, then more lenders would allow you to borrow at a cheaper rate, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's right. It started out as the individual trustee to the trust when I purchased the commercial warehouse back in late 2023. But when I approached you, Louise, last year to refinance, and I'm so glad I did approach you and change my mortgage brokers, that's when I discovered that, you know, the corporate trustee did give me more options, better offer of rates, and that next level of security. So that's been the process, and it's comfort to have that established, that structure established moving forward with this new mortgage.
And with the loan, we've actually used a method called lease stock, where the only assessment is technically on the lease on the property, not the actual your assets and liabilities. I just want to explain about the trust lending, why the major banks have been pulling back from individuals borrowing in trust, because a lot of spruikers out there were advising people just set up another trust and buy the property in that, and then you don't have to account for your servicing in your normal servicing. But the banks have gone, well, hang on, there is often a deficit with a lease. It's not enough to cover. Samantha's deal, because hers was a commercial property, clearly covers her rent, clearly over and above covers all interest and repayments, and the bank is happy to assess on that level. But when they assessed often these individual trusts, they decided that they're not prepared to lend because they then get excluded. And I don't think I've explained that terribly well, but there is an issue with people constantly buying individual properties in trust, but not for the reasons that Samantha's done it. So hers is a commercial enterprise. She's doing it for asset protection. Clearly her accountant has structured this not just to hide debt. It's clearly to help her manage her assets and maintains a secure and ongoing future. Whereas these other people were doing things that weren't quite as it appeared. And she's happy to service. She does service very well. So it's easier for her. But I just want to make that clear for people that there's a difference in the way trusts are treated when you're PAYG as well, as opposed to self-employed. So more options available with self-employed. A lot of the time people get put off borrowing in when you're self-employed, but really you've flown through every time. You just got to be organised and know your finances, really, don't you? What's some good tips you've got about running your business and your finances for people, Samantha? We'd love to hear.
I guess I've had the mindset of constant improvement over time. So that's been important, like each year setting in place new things to improve the customer relationships, our systems. So I employ currently 3 people. I have had more in the past, but it's running very efficiently with 3 people. And I only work 3 days a week rather than 6 that I used to, because I set up a lot of systems. So the procedures and systems are in place. People know what they're doing. And I've also had a really great accountant, and I've got a really good bookkeeper as well. So I know what my strengths are, and yes, I'm a good tea blender and I drink a lot of tea, but I do definitely need the support of accountants and bookkeepers. And like you, Louise, you're an expert in finance for mortgages and lending. So of course I turn to people and ask for help when it's a bit beyond my scope of comprehension. And these things change, as you've discovered with this corporate trustee change of mind for the banks. That's not something that I need to keep abreast of. That's what I come to people like you for. So I appreciate and value having people around me that are those sort of subject experts in my business.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed you're doing the 3 days a week, because I know on the other couple of days you're busy renovating houses, aren't you?
I am, that's right. There was a unit purchased through the trust as well that I'm renovating, and it has given me the time to be able to invest in that as a personal thing, as well as my partner's now calling it an expensive hobby. But it's great to see it transform. Yeah, it's great to see it transform, and the value of that has increased. And I've got some advice on what its rental value will be once it's finished, which is hopefully Easter. So all going well.
Well done. Oh, well, congratulations on your efforts and your brilliant business, which I think you're just doing an amazing job, and it's beautiful tea. And I really appreciate you sharing your insights with everyone, because it can be confronting when you're getting into business and knowing which way to structure and what to do. And trust lending is a necessary part, particularly for those in business. So well done.
Yes, when you go through a growth phase and you think it would be the next step to potentially own the asset that I warehouse in and dispatch from, it was important to reach out to the accountant and go, well, being a sole trader, for example, wouldn't work for that level of commercial investment and moving forward. So yeah, that's just the progress, well, in my mind, from a small business to a growing business, and getting that advice and looking at the next step.
A lot of people go through that, start as sole trader, then move to the next level, corporate trust, and etc.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you, we should mention also about the issues we've had with Tasmanian titles, because that is a particular area. So I just want to explain about PEXA. So poor Samantha's had this huge effort in trying to change the name on her title, which is just a real pain in the proverbial, because in Tasmania, they don't use the PEXA system. And PEXA is an online electronic system, or it's the digital property settlements. That's what it's for. And it was started with the major lenders across the eastern states, but not ACT and not Tassie and not Northern Territory, because they refused to participate. And that causes the rest of us enormous amount of issues when we're trying to get changes made, because changes in a manual system like the Tasmanian Titles Office can take 6 weeks or 8 weeks, just insane. Whereas in Victoria, you can register something and it'll be done automatically online, instantaneously, all thanks to that brilliant electronic system that we've got. So if you're buying in Tassie or the other places I mentioned, it can be a problem, and you've got to be aware that things can take a lot longer than you would anticipate in now our current experience. in mainland. You know, it's crazy, isn't it? Crazy.
Yeah, a little patience is needed if you're in this southern state to have changeover of like names on titles and so forth. But we'll get there, and I'm pleased that I have a major lender who we're on the cusp of signing. The settlement will be in the next couple of days. So I was fortunate to be able to get one of those major lenders and a really good interest rate comparative to what I've been paying for the last 2 and a bit years, which was probably one of the only few that I could take as an individual trustee at the time. So I was grateful to be able to purchase that property back then in 2023. And the property has almost doubled in value, I might add, in the time as well.
Holding.
Yeah, it's definitely worth holding, but it's very smart. In my mind, I think it was a smart thing to get on to refinancing and not let this time, which goes quite quickly, get any further along and reach out and get a better interest rate. And the major lenders can offer that.
Yeah, well done, Samantha. Pleasure helping you. We wish you every success with this new thing, and congratulations on your business, which is inspiring, completely inspiring. Well done.
Thank you, Louise. Yep, I'm off to have another cuppa now. So chat next time.